This was Omni-Man's most brutal moment. To force Mark to see the fragile nature of humanity, he gripped Mark's head tightly and slammed him head-on into a speeding train. The entire train became a bloodbath. Hundreds of passengers died instantly, but even then, Omni-Man did not stop. He beat his son to the brink of death. Ever since Mark saw his father kill the Immortal, he couldn't accept what had happened. He believed Omni-Man was being controlled by something. He charged at his father, trying to beat some sense into him, but Omni-Man effortlessly sent Mark flying. Then he revealed the truth he'd hidden for 20 years. It turned out Omni-Man was from Viltrum. After countless rounds of slaughter and selection, the Vitriumans who survived all possessed nearly invincible power. Afterward, they began to conquer the universe. One planet after another fell under the Empire's control, and to conquer even more worlds, they dispatched elite warriors to infiltrate various planets. When the time was right, they would launch a full-scale invasion, and Omni-Man was the infiltrator assigned to Earth. But shortly after arriving on Earth, he unexpectedly met Mark's mother. Being a husband and a father made him delay Earth's conquest. Only after Mark awakened his Viltrumite blood did he end his long infiltration.
So if I wasn't, I'd just be one more human to conquer? No, this doesn't make any sense. You love me. You love Mom. I know you do.
Do you have any idea how long we live?
But to Mark, who had grown up on Earth, it was no longer just a target, it was his home. He couldn't let his father destroy it, so he charged again. However, the two were simply not on the same level in terms of power. Although Mark had inherited the Vitrum bloodline, his powers had only just awakened. Against the battle-hardened Omni-Man, he stood no chance. Meanwhile, Cecil realized the situation was spiraling out of control. Although he knew the odds were slim, he still dispatched 2 fighter jets to support Mark. But even in the face of humanity's most advanced weapons, Omni-Man remained unfazed. Fortunately, the pilot ejected in time and narrowly escaped with his life. Mark rushed over with all his might and finally rescued the pilot. But just as everyone let out a sigh of relief, Omni-Man caught up to them once again. To him, humans were fragile and short-lived. Sacrificing yourself for them was pointless. Faced with his father's cold-blooded words, Mark was consumed by rage.
Did seeing that man lose his life disturb you? Did it hurt? Well, let's see how you handle this.
Mark flew toward the city like a cannonball. He plowed through streets and cars before finally coming to a halt. But the moment he regained his footing, the building beside him began to collapse. Mark rushed over and desperately tried to hold the building up. But the impact had already destroyed its foundation. Accompanied by a deafening roar, the entire building collapsed with a thunderous crash. Mark fought desperately to rescue a survivor, but when he looked down, the person had already stopped breathing. With blood staining his hands, Mark felt for the first time just how powerless he truly was.
How could you do this?
That was your fault. Your stubbornness against the inevitable killed those people. How many more need to die, Mark? It's up to you. And what were they doing with those fragile little lives anyway?
No matter how his father belittled him, Mark refused to give up. To him, Earth was more than a mission. It was his home. And what happened next became the most horrifying scene in the entire series. To completely shatter Mark's beliefs, Omni-Man grabbed his head and slammed it into an oncoming train.